Coming off a beatdown last week in the Marinara Massacre, Bologna State must bounce back quickly and play better this week. 49 points is the most given up in a game in the Coach Rigatoni era, and they've never lost 2 games in a row. But before we talk about USF this year and the wide offense, this team nearly beat Bologna State last year, taking a 17-7 lead into halftime. But the then 56 overall Bologna State team rallied, led by Cameron Teague and last year's senior quarterback Tyler Olson, to put up 21 points in the second half and rally in USF Stadium to ultimately come back and win 28-25. It was a marquee win in the Coach Rigatoni era in his first season as head coach. This year, USF is running a widespread offense, and this offense is a huge pain to go up against. Can they come up with a game plan to slow it down and get back in the winning column? This is the Rigatoni recipe, a college football dynasty played on Heisman difficulty from a former coach's perspective, using the worst team possible. If you have a quarterback that can throw the ball anywhere on the field, this offense is really a nightmare in college football to deal with. Luckily for us, USF doesn't have an amazing quarterback, but on Heisman difficulty, I have a feeling that's not going to matter. We can't really run our standard 3-3-5 cover 3 look against this because the players are so wide it creates massive openings in the seams, and it also makes this middle safety somewhat useless because the receivers are too far away from the middle for him to cover anybody. Against wide trips and bunch, if you're not careful with your numbers, they can easily just run RPOs and either give it to the running back or throw a screen pass for easy yardage every single play. If you try a 2-deep safety look, it usually leaves 5-on-5 blocking in the running game, which is easy for an offense to take advantage of and pound the rock. If you try a zone pressure, it usually creates big openings in the middle of the field, and it's really hard for those slot corners to make it in time because they're so far away. If you try a cover 1 man, if they have any matchups at all, the receivers will have way too much space to work, and USF has multiple great receivers, which makes man coverage a bad idea for us. And if you try an all-out pressure, all it takes is one guy to win his matchup and break a tackle, and you're going to be exposed for huge yardage. Basically, no matter what you do, the offense has a clear way to expose the weakness. Because we can't stop everything, we're going to need a defense that can, 1, prioritize the wide receivers since they have great talent and depth there. No easy bubble screens, always a numbers advantage on the edge. 2, provide solid run fits against the running back, leaving the quarterback alone since he's not a running threat. 3, protect the seam pass so we don't give up huge chunks of yardage down the middle of the field. And 4, has the ability to pressure when needed to mix it up. Our answer, a dime personnel 3-2-6 front and cover 4 quarters. This checks every box we described above and will be the foundation of our defensive game plan this week. The interior of the defense can pinch and help the running back flow outside where we have all of our help, we have the seams covered, we have a numbers advantage on the edge, and we have the ability to pressure from this if we need to. This formation and coverage is far from perfect and it has plenty of holes, but we're going to live with those problems to cover the priorities we have going into this game. They also randomly have a power I formation and an I tight formation. We're going to deal with those with our under front and cover 2 invert, same plan we used against the 2-back running game against Bologna Tech. So smash that like button to support bouncing back, hit subscribe if you believe we can run pattern match, and leave a comment if you absolutely love this flow to the football. Let's go! Offensively, because they run a 4-2-5 base, we're going to use the same game plan we used against Ole Miss earlier in the season, except since we now have some fullback formations, we're going to use the I form and pound the rock against their smaller players. Look for dive plays in both directions, stretch of course since everything in this offense starts with the stretch play. Counter coming back the other way could give us some success against the diamond front or a loaded front, and Power O is a staple play that we're going to use from all of these formations. We need to be able to throw the ball from the I formation as well, so deep crossers can usually expose any pattern match coverages that USF wants to go with. We have one deep to the left, we have a deep one going to the right. We also have this middle dagger play that happens off of play action, which should catch somebody. And then just a standard drop back pass with a scissors concept on the play side that could hopefully break open down the field. On the recruiting side, no major changes since last week for Bologna State. Unfortunately, we did have a few recruits visiting for the Marinara Massacre, so them seeing the game against Bologna Tech was pretty tough for us. We need talent everywhere and desperately need help at nearly every position. We've got several 3-stars and a few 4-stars interested, and Coach Rigatoni plans to make an aggressive push with transfers to try to rebuild this roster quickly heading into next year. Getting talent is priority number 1. Bologna State cannot afford to be picky right now. Get the best player you can and figure out ways to make them successful instead of trying to find the right player for the scheme. That's going to come later once we start getting more good players in the door. So here we go. USF versus Coach Rigatoni and Bologna State. Another game in the pouring rain, so let's see what happens. We opened this game with the inside trap. We're able to get some nice yardage there against the 3 technique. That was our game plan there. 1st and 10, heavy set, I formation, looking for the stretch play. Then 2nd and 8, going with the inside dive, just going to really focus on the running game early on. 1st and 10, try to hit him with a spread formation, go trips tight end, RPO. We're able to get a few yards. And then 2nd and 7, DePaul tries to hit Harris on the deep ball, and he just misses the throw. Unfortunately, that puts us in a 3rd and 7. We're looking for Jackson out of the backfield, not able to connect there either, so we are off the field. 1st and 10 for USF. They go to the inside running game, and I thought they actually did a good job on this first drive, kind of mixing it up and playing well into our cover 4. A couple of wrap inside runs, a couple of option plays, even with a quarterback who isn't necessarily all that fast. 1st and 10 now, again, inside run. They're able to get a good chunk, get it down to 2nd and 1. They go to that I form tight. We've got the under front. We've got numbers there, unfortunately just aren't able to make the play. They only needed a yard. And then 1st and 10, again, it's a sprint option, but quarterback's not really all that good. We're okay to let him run for it. And then 3rd and 10, trying to take a deep shot in the range.
Championship game, we might get to see this matchup again.
Our next drive out, and really the only thing that stopped us last time was our own passing game. So we go back to the heavy set, get a 1st down on 1st and 10, and then on 1st and 10 again, going with the counter play. 2nd and 6, going power G from a doubles formation, not a single back, since we figured we could get the edge on them. 1st and 10, try an inside ISO. They block it up pretty good. 2nd and 8, go with another inside ISO. We're able to get some yards, so we're just pounding the rock here. 1st and 10 again. We go back to the trips tight end, RPO. We were trying to set something up on this, and they were giving us the numbers advantage, so we were happy to take it. Then 2nd and 2, we go with the stretch. So their next drive out, try to put an answer together. You can see 1st and 10, they're getting some yards. We're doing an okay job kind of bottling it up, but we can't stop everything. And even with this quarterback, for some reason they're running with him, and he's been decently effective early on. 3rd and 2, didn't need a lot, but they were able to get it. 1st and 10, Isaac Smith says enough of this, puts the quarterback in the dirt. 2nd and 13, though, the vulnerability of this cover 4 is that deep post shot, and they're able to make a big play. And then 1st and 10, very next play, I don't even know what happened there. My guy just got put in a blender, but the running back goes for a nice chunky yard. It's 1st and 10 again. They're getting closer and closer, trying to find an opening, and honestly, I'm happy that he didn't just run there because I just ran right past him. And then 2nd and 10, they're getting it even closer now, down to the 2. We got 3rd and 2. Quarterback tries to run. He's not able to get there. They got 4th and inches. They're going to go for it. Quarterback runs again, and no, he gets denied. What a stand. Bologna State's next drive out now. Got to get off the goal line, see if we can get some room here. 2nd and 8, try to go with the power G. We're able to catch the edge, so Cameron Teague gets us some breathing room. 1st and 10, going with the inside dive, just way too much penetration. And you notice the injuries. That is going to be a theme of this game as you look a little bit closer down the line. 2nd and 11, though, Teague, absolutely money. Bo Jackson, this two-headed monster at running back, has been great. Even with Caleb Jackson going out, Teague has stepped in and done an amazing job. Another 1st and 10 for Bologna State. They go with the strong power. They're able to get another nice chunky yards on the ground. 2nd and 5, inside dive. Bo Jackson, give him even more of that money. 1st and 10, we go inside ISO with Teague. Another injury though. 2nd and 2, we go with the inside trap, and Jackson is loose again. 1st and 10, going inside ISO. It's just beat him up, beat him up, beat him up every single play. 2nd and 8, and then we finally hit him with the play action fake. Looking for Harris again this time. DePaul got it. Touchdown, Bologna State. So USF now, a chance to respond. They go inside zone. We're able to defend it fairly well. Get them down to 2nd and 8. They're looking for a play action. Deep crosser, not there. He drops it off underneath. Running back gets a good chunk. It's now 3rd and 2. They go quarterback zone read again, and the quarterback keeps it again because that's what we wanted. Fed them to the safety, and they're off the field. So Bologna State with a great opportunity to extend the lead. Not a huge chunk on 1st down. 2nd and 9, going with the play action. We talked about those deep crossers possibly being there. We're able to get a huge chunk on that play. 1st and 10, inside trap. They sniffed it out this time though. 2nd down, we go with the stretch play. Not able to get a good amount of yardage there. And then 3rd and 8, tried to hit him on the out route, and that also wasn't there. We go to try to kick it. Our freshman, he is a great player, but he doinks it off the post. So we miss points on that drive. USF with a chance to respond and make this respectable going into the half. They got 2 minutes, 3 timeouts. Not a great throw. 2nd and 10. Looking to find another guy. He does get the underneath throw and get a first down there. 1st and 10, minute 40 to go. Again, looking for a receiver. He's able to find the crosser. Breaks a tackle, which is unfortunate, but we keep him in bounds, so the clock keeps ticking. 2nd and 2, looking for a crosser. Can't find anybody against that cover 4. We get a sack, and they take a timeout. And then 3rd and 8, what are we doing? We thought we had the perfect coverage there, and we just left them alone, so it's another first down for USF. 1st and 10, minute 9 left to play. Finds the underneath guy. He only gets a couple yards, so we're happy with that, and the clock keeps ticking. 2nd and 4, tries to find the curl. He just barely makes the catch. It's a good contested catch by the receiver there. 1st and 10, he throws the ball to the moon on a short little play and take a timeout, so we're feeling pretty good. Until...
Gets it past the first down marker and still running. Touchdown!
So we don't have a ton of time here with 29 seconds, but we do have 3 timeouts, so we're going to see what we can make happen. We're going to go with that halfback angle screen to start the drive, and we take a timeout. 2nd and 3, looking for the sideline shot. Wasn't really there, so we go underneath, take another timeout with 16 seconds remaining. 1st and 10 again, looking for the scissors concept, and oh, no. A game that felt like we were dominating has very suddenly taken a quick turn. 10 seconds remaining. We're able to get the sack, which is huge. They use their final timeout, and in the pouring rain, this guy drills it. So it's 14-10 heading into the half. Really, we felt very good about the potential of going up at least 17-0, 21-0, and somehow it's a 4-point game. So not a great end of the first half for Bologna State. 1st and 10, able to get a good stop though, and then 2nd and 10, defense did a really nice job plugging up that interior. 3rd and 8, looking for the deep cross.
Let's it fly.
Bologna State's next drive out, back to the power running game, looking for Stretch and Teague. Not able to get a lot there, actually. 2nd and 7, though, inside trap. It was Bo Jackson again breaking loose. And then 1st and 10, Teague finds a hole on the ISO play. Able to get another chunk of 8. 2nd and 2, go back to the stretch. Able to get a first down, but there's 2 Bologna State injuries on that play. One of which was Bo Jackson, who's out for the rest of the game. So it's Teague who carries the load. He gets another chunk of 10, and then Teague reaching for the goal line, but we have another Bologna State injury on the offensive line. This team is depleted as Teague gets into the end zone regardless. So USF looking for an answer now on their next drive. They get 7 on a running play on first down. 2nd and 3, throws the weirdest curl I've ever seen, but we're able to get the stop. And then 3rd and 3, they run zone read triple option to the receiver, and somehow Bologna State stays disciplined and they're there. So a huge challenge now as a coach and an offensive coordinator with 3 of your offensive linemen injured and your starting running back injured in the pouring rain, trying to find ways to move the football. They get it down to 3rd and 8. We're trying to find a crossing route to Harris, and it's just not there, so Bologna State is off the field. USF, they just keep staying alive in this game. 1st and 10, they're not able to get a lot of yards, and then 2nd and 8, just that wall of Bologna State color is there. They've done a great job defensively. 3rd and 7, though, they hit a screen pass, and they're able to get the numbers they need to get a first down. And then 1st and 10, they gash him on the outside power play, and they got numbers. So USF is loose, and they're trying to make a game of this thing. 1st and 10, looking for a guy. Hit as he throws, so the ball goes into the dirt. 2nd and 10, they go with the inside running play. Bologna State's there. They're able to make the stop. It's 3rd and 7 now. Looking down the field, throws it underneath. He breaks a tackle. He fights for yardage, but he's not able to get there. And then 4th and 2, the under front against the 2-back running game. They just barely get enough. 1st and goal now. The quarterback keeps it because that's what Bologna State wanted. 2nd and goal, they go with the inside power. Not able to get a lot of yardage. And then 3rd and goal goes to the end zone, and we're able to get the stop at the back pylon. So we force the field goal after all that drama. It is a 1-score game. So can Bologna State put together a knockout punch on the road, in the pouring rain, down 3 offensive linemen, down their starting running back, with a weak receiver group? David DePaul slings it on the sideline. We got no problems here. Underneath to the backup tight end. We got no problems here. Inside trap to Teague. We got no problems. He's carrying USF defenders on his back, but Taylor Harris gets hurt. So our starting tight end is now out for the rest of the game. Coach Rigatoni is running out of people to put on the field, so it's just the Cameron Teague show. And just like it was against Tulane in the pouring rain, Teague responds. First and goal, play action, double crosser, looking for the receiver, going across. He's not able to make the catch. Second and goal, we go inside ISO. It's Teague fighting, reaching for the goal line. And then third and goal, we run the stretch play and Teague crosses the goal line. What a machine. It kind of feels like this is USF's last chance to get back in this game. And it's Isaac Smith, our starting strong safety, who now gets injured and is out for the game. And then second and 6, a huge deep post against the cover 4. Despite a 15-point lead, it feels like things are totally unraveling. First and 10, and Bologna State's able to make the stop there. Second and 11, underneath throw, able to make another stop. So now it's third and 10. Looking, trying to run for it, and he just dives. So it's fourth and 7. Last chance for USF to stay alive. He's got time. He throws it underneath, and Bologna State's able to get him off the field. 6:34 remaining. Just got to kill some clock and go home here, right? Well, good stop by USF on the first play. Second and 11. Teague breaking loose again. This guy is unbelievable when the moment really counts. First and 10, looking for a play action. Nothing really there. DePaul finds a lot of green grass. He's running for his life in the rain. He's never run so fast. First and 10, Bologna State. Teague just barely misses a huge play. He couldn't beat the defensive end. Second and 8, Bologna State looking for the deep crosser, and the backer just barely knocks it down. Third and 8, DePaul looking for the out route. Got his man, but he's not able to make the catch. It's Page. And so the freshman kicker comes out. Surely he's going to make this one, right? And he missed again. We just can't put him away. USF, knowing it's now or never. They got 4 minutes, 3 timeouts. They got to put a drive together here. Second and 11, he slings it on the sideline and gets a first down. First and 10. Able to get 7 yards on that play with a solid chunk. Second and 3, throws it way to the sideline, puts my guy in a blender again. I have no idea what happened there. First and 10, looking at the sideline, he's not able to make the play. Second and 10, they run the ball, which is kind of an interesting play, but they do still have 3 timeouts. And then third and 8, looking for the home run.
He'll try to pick it up through the air. Throws toward the end zone. And it's an incomplete pass on the deep shot. Flag is down. Let's check the call.
So the drive stays alive. 2:47, 3 timeouts. USF looking to the sideline, not able to make the catch. Honestly, advantageous for them because that would have killed some clock. Second and 10, he's got an absurd amount of time sitting in the pocket, and somebody's eventually going to break open in that, and they get it to a 1-score game. Bologna State's next drive out, and Cameron Teague is now injured. What is going on? It's up to the freshman Tavion Grant to carry the load. First and 10. We go to Ty Hardy to try to get us some yards, and he's getting about as much as he can. We've got a totally depleted team right here. Third down and just so much penetration in the backfield, we can't do anything, and we're off the field. There's no way, right? 1:51 and no timeouts, despite how crazy this game has been and how dominant it seemed like Bologna State has been. USF has a chance to tie this thing, but they make a stop on first and second down. It's third and 6. They're looking for the crossing route, and he makes the catch. You can see the disappointment on the defense. First and 10, he throws a curl pass. They're able to get some yards and clock it. Third and 5, they try to run the ball. I don't know what's going on. Fourth and 2, they throw the ball right short. He just barely gets it, and they clock it. Second and 10, looking for a miracle. He throws it on the sideline. He makes the catch, which is the worst thing that could have happened. Last chance to win the game, and they just run out of time. Bologna State survives. All the players who were injured are going to be back next week. No one was injured for a substantial amount of time, but what in the world was happening there? So Bologna State survives and gets another nail-biter victory against USF in their stadium as they now advance to 6-2 with their 2 losses coming to Ole Miss and Bologna Tech. This puts them second in the American Conference to Memphis and just on the edge of being ranked once again with a huge game next week against against the number 3 team in the conference. Coach Rigatoni is happy to get the win with a solid game plan this week. He's happy his team is finding ways to win, but man, are they missing some opportunities to put people away and finish games. They have to find another gear to close out the season before it's too late. Next week is a new opportunity to make that happen. Thank you again for all of your support. You all have been incredible. If you're enjoying the content, please consider liking and subscribing. I am still a small content creator and these videos always take me a long time, so any support you can give me to expand the audience is greatly appreciated. I'll leave you with the stats of the game. Take care. See you next Tuesday.